So we're talking about question number 8. Now, question number 8 says we have a steam engine that has a bore of 3.5 millimeters and a stroke of 500 millimeters. The piston rod has a diameter of 50 millimeters. When a trial was conducted on the steam engine, the following observations were made. Then here are the results. Area of the indicator diagram, the cover end is 2,640 square millimeters. The crank end is 2,530 millimeters square. Then the length of both diagrams, 68.5, meaning each of them 68.85, rather 68.5 millimeters. Then we also have the spring scale. The spring scale is saying 13.6 kilonewtons per square meter per millimeter. Brake load, 6.7 kilonewtons at 1.05 meters brake radius. Rotational speed of the engine, 150 RPM. And then measured steam consumption, 33 kgs per minute. So we need to calculate the indicated power, the brake power, the mechanical efficiency, then the indicated specific steam consumption, as well as the brake specific steam consumption. Now with all those, we can first of all get to the first part. We're looking for the indicated power. Now the secret here is that we only have the area of the indicator diagrams with the two ends. One is the cover end, one is the crank end. So let's start with the one which is for the, first of all, we deal with the general formula. The general formula we're using here, when we've been given the areas and the length of the diagram, is to divide that area by the length of the diagram, then we multiply by the spring scale. We're going to do the same for each of them, then we'll combine them after that. So let's start with the EMAP for the cover end. This is the indicated mean effective pressure. So we're saying 2640 over 68.5. The units are all in millimeters, so they are sorting each other out, times 13.6. So we're saying the area of the diagram for the crank, or rather for the cover, is 2,640. The length of this diagram is 68.5. The spring scale is 13.6 and it's constant because we're dealing with the same spring. From there, we're going to multiply now by the spring scale. The value of what we're getting is now in kilopascals. So we have 524.146 kilopascals. Let's also do the same for the crank end. So here, the indicated mean effective pressure in place of the area of the diagram, we use 2,530 divided by the length of the diagram, which is 68.5, multiplied by the spring scale, which is 13.6. This one is giving us 502.307 kilopascals. Then we have the total value of the IMEP. What are we going to do? We get the EMAP for the cover end, add the EMAP for the rod end. Indicated mean effective pressure that we calculated for the cover end, we add it to the indicated mean effective pressure we got for the rod end. That's all. We just get the total from that. So the first answer was 524.146 plus our second answer, which was 502.3. So the total that we get is 1026.446 kilopascals. This answer we have found is not for the cover end, the crank end. This is actually what we're looking for. This is now our actual indicated mean effective pressure for this engine. So remember, we haven't done anything special. We're just replacing in this formula. And if you look at the way that formula makes sense, The top part is for area, and we know that the unit for area is that. The bottom part here is the length, which is also given in that. Then we're going to multiply by the spring rate. The spring rate is actually kilopascals per millimeter. So it's kilopascals per millimeter. Sorry, this is going away. Per millimeter. So what happens here, by the way, you can ignore this. This is not there, it's just millimeter. This cancels with that. You remain with just millimeter. Then the millimeter cancels with that. And that's how come we said our unit that we're using is now kilopascals for the indicated mean effective pressure. So we go ahead to calculate for each of them. After that, the total is where we add the first one and the second one. And this is the total we have. What about the cross-sectional area? We're given the bore diameter for this engine being 375 millimeters. So we're going to use pi d squared over 4. So pi times 0.375. 375 millimeters. If you have to convert it to meters, as usual, you divide by 1,000. So this is where you are seeing this number coming from. There we are. This is where this number is coming from. So pi multiplied by 0.375 squared divided by 4. And our answer is 0.11045. This is in square meters. Then we proceed. Let's get now the indicated power. Could be wondering why we wasted all the time looking for that, because this is what we needed. The only thing I want us to add is this small letter n, which represents the number of working strokes. For a two-stroke cycle engine, it's n times number of cylinders times the number of cylinders, meaning if there are 4, 5, you multiply there. If it's a four-stroke cycle engine, it means you divide this by 2. This you divide it by 2, then you multiply by the number of cylinders. So in this case, looking at the information provided so far, we're taking that it's actually having one cylinder. And at the same time, it's not a four-stroke. If it's a four-stroke, it should have been specified. So we take our small letter n as being equal to n times 1. We'll see as we replace them. The area is this one we have here, 0.11045, so we substitute. The length of the stroke was 500 millimeters, so it's 0.5. Then n, the rotational speed of this machine was 150 revolutions per minute, times number of cylinders, which is 1. So we just leave it like that, 150. Indicated mean effective pressure is this value we got here after adding the 2. And after that, we divide everything by 60 so that we have our power in joules per second. In kilojoules per second, because this is already in kilo. So when you enter these now in your calculator, enter them in your calculator, you're going to find that our answer is 141.7137 kilowatts. This is in kilowatts. So there you are. That is our indicated power. And we say that the indicated power is the power that is actually developed in the cylinders of an engine. Let's go to B. B is looking for the brake power. Formula for brake power is 2 pi nt over 60. So 2 pi n, instead of t, we have this expansion, which is WR. 2 pi n WR, where we know very well that This WR is actually representing T because that's like that. It comes in this format. So then we substitute, this is my 2 pi. In place of n, I'm using the engine rotational speed, which is 150. Then multiply by the load on the dynamometer, which is 6.7 kilonewtons, multiplied by the radius at which this load is acting. So our R is 1.05. Divide everything by 60. The power you get is 110.505. Now let's see the difference. This number is supposed to be smaller than the indicated power because the indicated power is like the source. The indicated power represents the power actually developed in the cylinders of an engine. So we expect it to be higher. Whereas this one we've calculated is the power available on the output end, away from the engine. Now that it has gone to the output mechanism, this is what we have. So the first part was actually inviting us to find the mechanical efficiency. Mechanical efficiency compares the brake power and the indicated power, expressing it in percentage form. So brake power over indicated power times 100%. That gives us the mechanical efficiency. Then we substitute our brake power is 110.505. Indicated power is 141.7137 times 100. So our mechanical efficiency is 77.97%. One thing you realize about these engines is that the mechanical efficiency is supposed to be at least above 70%. If your mechanical efficiency is very low, then just check that engine. There has to be something wrong. Because from the losses you experience from the engine to the output, most of them are due to inertia, environmental factors, name it. Now, those inertia factors from the environment cannot drop this to say maybe something like below 50%, not at all. It's supposed to be around 70%, 80%, then we are okay. Then let's go to the ISSC, indicated specific steam consumption. So this one is supposed to use the indicated power. So we're saying indicated specific steam consumption is steam consumed in 1 hour divided by the indicated power. And this one, it must be in kilowatts. Whichever units they have given, take it back to kilowatts, then you're okay. So there, the steam consumption we had was 33 kgs in 1 minute. But we want it to be up to 1 hour. How many minutes are there in an hour? We have 60. So the 33 multiplied by 60, we've converted. So 33 times 60 divided by the indicated power that we got, which is 141.7137. So then the indicated specific steam consumption is 13.97 kilojoules per kilowatt hour. What about the brake specific steam consumption? So this is supposed to be our brake. So this is letter B. Brake specific steam consumption per hour over brake power. Steam consumption, we're not changing anything. It's the same again. We're using 33 kgs per minute. So we multiply by 60 so that we can have the equivalent in hours. We want it for at least 1 hour. So that's why we multiply by the 60. In an hour, there are 60 minutes. So the answer we get is 1980, 1980. Then we divide now by the brake power. We got our brake power as 110.505. Sorry, that doesn't look good. Let me just remove. Okay. So that's our value. And the answer is 17.92 kgs per kilowatt hour. That is how you proceed with this. So, with this having been done, please, like I keep saying, you don't need to miss the next one. The moment it's posted, you'll see if you subscribed. But if you haven't, you have to check physically, or YouTube must send you some other advertising notification. Yeah, so when you subscribe, it makes it faster for you to pick up the updates. The next thing is, should you see anything that requires a bit of some quick attention, you let me know.